All right, we are back here on Weather Command. It's one of the big pieces of news today. The Climate Prediction Center releasing an update regarding the El Niño Southern Oscillation, ENSO.
It's a lot to digest, but it's important and a very important factor when it comes to hurricane season. And new guidance as of this morning suggesting El Niño is likely to emerge soon, with odds now sitting at 82%. It is expected to persist into the winter months at a staggering 92% probability rate.
And far from home, that's the zone we look at, Niño region 3.4. And no longer is that region cooler than average. As we had from the CPC just a month ago learned, it is now warmer than average. It is on the precipice of looking at ENSO, El Niño conditions taking over. Now, with that new update, the CPC, it's a very technical discussion, but they had a line in here that is pretty straightforward, saying stronger El Niño events do not ensure strong impacts. They can only make certain impacts more likely. It's a probabilities thing. It always is, but it's a pattern that we're going to need to follow pretty closely.
All right, we do want to welcome in NOAA meteorologist Nathaniel Johnson with more on some of the latest guidance. And Nathaniel, your research, it focuses in on climate dynamics. So with that,
very simple.
Very simple. Yeah, very easy, straightforward topic. But can you elaborate a little bit more on the latest ENSO update? And I think I misspoke. I believe it's 96% when we get into the winter months when it comes to El Niño likely to emerge and maintain. So what factors, what was the team looking at specifically to be able to come up with that number of 82%?
Right. Yeah. So you're right. The latest outlook is more confident that we're going to transition to El Niño within the next couple of months. One of the reasons is that the tropical Pacific is extremely warm if you look under the ocean surface. In fact, it's about as warm as it was in 1997 when we had another major El Niño event. And our computer model guidance continues to indicate high confidence that we will transition to El Niño and higher confidence that this may be a strong event later in the fall.
And I don't want to get ahead of myself, but that 96% chance is high. I am wondering if you know, has the CPC ever issued something where it's 100% likely so far out? I mean, this is almost a slam dunk, Nathaniel. But as you guys said, or even cautioned, that this doesn't ensure strong impacts. This just makes certain impacts a bit more likely.
Right, you're right. This is an unusually confident forecast, given that it's May. Usually our forecasts for El Niño in the spring tend to be less confident, but the signal is just unusually strong this time of year. So I'm not sure if we've ever been this confident this early in the season. But you're also right. Even if we do get El Niño, which is virtually certain at this point, there are other factors that can impact our weather and climate at any given season. So those other factors tend to be less predictable, but they can still be important. And that's why we can't be certain that the impacts of El Niño will be felt, just that they're more likely when we have a stronger event.
And it kind of in relation to that, and I was wondering, so when we talk about the 82% chance in May and July, there's that 96% chance for December through February of next year. What about that gap in between? So pardon my ignorance, but the August, September, October.
Right. It's still very likely that we will see El Niño conditions by then. So El Niño, it really tends to peak in the late fall, early winter. So that's why our confidence in it developing by then is even higher. But in this case, our confidence is still pretty high that by August, September, we're going to be seeing El Niño conditions.
I haven't been able to go through all the research that you've been a part of, and it is an exhaustive list. But we always look at ENSO through the lens of hurricane season, Nathaniel, and wondering if what we heard from the CPC today, if that would change anything. NOAA is going to be releasing their hurricane forecast a week from today, and ENSO, when there's an El Niño signal here, that often means that Atlantic storms are mitigated because of wind shear. But does this play into anything, or does this just simply make you look ahead to the winter and say, boy, we could very much have another El Niño winter, the first, I think, since 2023?
That's correct, 23, 24. So in terms of the hurricane outlook, I'm not involved in producing the outlook, but I'm very confident that the latest ENSO outlook will factor in to their hurricane outlook for the reasons you mentioned. So when we have an El Nino, we tend to see suppressed activity in the Atlantic and enhanced activity in the Eastern Pacific. And this only increases the likelihood that we will see El Nino conditions during the hurricane season. But as you mentioned, a lot of the major impacts across the U.S. occur in the winter. So this does increase the chance that we're going to see some of those impacts in the winter, which includes, enhanced storminess of the southern tier of the U.S. And that could be good news for a lot of the southern U.S. that's experienced drought, but maybe not so good in terms of the more northern areas that are under drought, as the southward shift of the storm track means that greater chance that the northern areas stay dry.
I even think it for the winter too. I know we got to go, Nathaniel, but in Minneapolis, I mean, when there's an El Nino in the winter, things often get warm, very warm for a city like then. There's been a lot of buzz, and I can't believe I haven't asked this, and sorry, but super El Nino, is that something you say? I know it's not a technical term, but what are your thoughts on a super El Nino developing where that region 3.4 exceeds 2 degrees Celsius?
Right. So yeah, we don't at NOAA don't use the super El Nino terminology, but the chance of a very strong event above 2 degrees Celsius, the latest outlook says it's over 35% chance. So that's not definite, but the chances are certainly there that we will have a very strong El Nino. So again, unusually confident for this time of year, but there's still a wide range of possibilities this far out.
All right. Well, we were waiting for that update, and we appreciate getting your voice along with that outlook that went out, around 9 a.m. Eastern time. So appreciate your time, meteorologist Nathaniel Johnson, and we'll be following what that equatorial Pacific is going to be doing over the coming.
With a magnifying glass.
Yes, very much so like this.
Right.
Thank you, Nathaniel.
My pleasure. Thank you.
I think his